Greetings, friends in Christ. If you're seeing this video, you have made it to the end of the liturgical year. Congratulations. I'm sorry we don't have cash prizes or a trip to the Vatican, but I think this video will do. This reflections for the Solemnity of Christ the King. So we have reached the end. And in the past couple of weeks, we have learned of the accounts about being ready for what is to come next. And I think it comes no coincidence because every time this happens, we are in the month of November, and we are remembering all the faithful departed, the souls in purgatory. And we're also keeping in mind, too, that our time on earth is only temporary. Some of us will live a long life. Some of us may die prematurely. Some of us may die a martyr's death. Some of us may have our lives taken us from the devil like a thief in the night. But either of those, and of course that will be a reminder for us for Advent, we'll get to that next week. But I think for today, I want to focus on why do we celebrate the Solemnity of Christ the King? Why? Well, first of all, the traces go back about 100 years. And in those 100 years, you have Pope Pius, who reminds us that the purpose of having this great solemnity is to remind us of the kingship that is to come. What our time on earth is going to be when our earthly pilgrimage is over. Pope Pius XI established this great solemnity in 1925. So hard to believe it's been 100 years. And so much has changed in 100 years, right? Then, of course, after the Second Vatican Council, the Solemnity of Christ the King was established to be the conclusion of the end of a liturgical year. So we're wrapping up year C, and in a few days we'll be starting year A, with Advent, of course. The gospel that was chosen for this Sunday is taken from the Gospel of Luke. And in the Gospel of Luke, we see the events of Christ being crucified, and who is with him? There are two thieves. The good thief Dismas, of course he's canonized in the church, that is, and he asked them, if you are really Christ, remember me when you enter the kingdom. And Christ's reply was really simple and bold. This day you will be with me in paradise. Christ wants all of us to be with him. So how do we do it? Well, first of all, we have to persevere in faith. We have to love our neighbors, our enemies, assuming you have a lot, and that's okay. Do the works of mercy. And there are so many other things you can do. But of course, receive the sacraments, pray, and remember and acknowledge from this day on until you take your dying breath that Christ is King. And he will reign. Oh, he didn't reign over political opponents or kings, but rather he reigned over sin and death, because he conquered them both so we could all be saved. Pope Benedict XVI talks about how to enter Christ's kingdom when he says, this is what our joy is, participating in the church, in the fullness of Christ through the obedience of the cross, of being qualified to share in the inheritance of the saints in light, of being transferred to the kingdom of the Son of God. For this reason, we live in perennial thanksgiving, and even in trials do not lack joy and peace that Christ bequeathed to us as a guarantee of his kingdom, which already exists among us, who wait with faith and hope, of which we have a foretaste of love. I think what it also takes for us to get to this kingdom of heaven, friends, is we must have a strong faith, and at times we have to persevere. We must hope for those who have fallen away from the faith to return. We love, not just by our words, but by our actions. We serve those who are less fortunate. We give our time and talent, even our treasure, for those who are in need. We teach charity at home by loving our spouse, by loving our siblings, our cousins, our family. This is the way, friends. This is the way to Christ's kingdom. As we conclude year C and transition to a new liturgical year, are you ready to make that effort to bring about God's kingdom on earth now and fulfill his will so we can be with him in heaven? St. Carlo Acutis reminds us that our way is heaven. So let's get on that highway, friends. And as Fulton Sheen reminds us that we, the laity, are going to save the church. All hail Christ the King. God bless.